Hello there. I'm Lisa Starr, and this is another episode of StarrCast, where we speak with today's wellness warriors. Today, I'm excited to welcome a guest from across the pond, from me anyway. Karen Mitchell is joining us, and Karen has a long history as a beauty therapist in the UK. In fact, she has a decades-long history, and I'm really excited to hear about how this career has been so fulfilling for her for all that time. So thank you for joining us, Karen.
It's a pleasure.
So Karen will go back to work shortly at the Old Thorns Manor Hotel in Hampshire. She has not worked since November, as the UK is in their third lockdown at this point?
Yes, yes.
So let's go back, Karen, to the start of your career and what led you into the beauty field.
Right. Well, from school, I was pushed into sort of doing the secretarial roles, which I did, and
Because back then that's what women did, right?
it was always, I always wanted to be a nurse, but it was always pushed into secretarial, which I went down and went into. It was called Greyshot Hall at the time, which was a big wellness leisure retreat. And started there, but soon realized, looking at the people that were having treatments and coming back from it, thinking I really want to do that.
So you started there as like an admin or a clerk?
Yeah, admin,
how
booking
about that?
treatments and sort of dealing with guests, but reception and things like that. But decided, no, I wanted to get into the wellness type of career. So I worked part-time, and then the rest of the time I was doing training at it was called Mary Waters School of Holistic Therapy, and so did that. And then when I finished, luckily I had a really wonderful spa manager called what was her name, let me Susan Harmsworth, who is the co-founder of S Spa. And she took me underneath her wing, and I just flew from there on. She was always there backing me, and so I started doing treatments and just absolutely loved it. Yeah.
What did you love about it? What was so much different than the job you had previously?
I think it was because it was hands-on, and I found a special bond between, I was helping them. So it was mainly, I think I was fulfilling what would have been a nursing role, but in a mind, body and spirit type of connection. And, to see them coming out of treatments and making a difference to them, I think really did help. Yeah.
Well, that's a great point that you made, Karen, about the mind, body, and spirit, because I think sometimes when people look at therapists, they think about the touch, right? And you have that human connection of touch, but not thinking about how it connects to the spirit or the mind of the guest. Can you elaborate on that a bit, how that works for you from the therapist perspective?
Yeah, I think as a therapist, you can evaluate the guest and seeing what they actually need. So as well as sort of like, they may come into your treatment room wanting one treatment and you're thinking you really need something else. So being able to sort of come to that thing with the guest to actually say, I think you'd be better off with this treatment. I think you'd be fine, you'd come out with a better result. So that was quite fulfilling.
Are they usually open to suggestions?
Yes, very much so. I think they're there, once they come into your room, they're in your hands as such. And I think you get that rapport with them, that they trust you. So, yeah.
So you're working at Greyshot under Susan Harmsworth, who everyone knows in wellness.
Yes.
And that was a time when wellness was really beginning to be something that people understood or sought after. What was your next step? What happened after that?
From the next step from that, I was made head of natural therapies, and then Susan's assistant spa manager. So I would deal with college students coming for work experience and taking them through their 6-week work experience and going through, and then to see them, sort of, we'd take them on afterwards as therapists and to see them flourish. And even now I see them around, they've got, their own salons or they're spa managers. And so I still keep in contact with quite a few, and it's just amazing to see them grow from these 17, 18-year-olds to now grown women, flourishing, which is something.
That must feel good to see how many people's lives you've impacted.
Definitely. And I think that's what I like. It's being able to help people, even though I didn't have that knowledge to begin with. I've had people like Sheila McCann, who was our spa manager after Susan. They both really helped me. So it was like giving it back to, being able to give it back to other therapists, because I've been in that position and been giving that help. So it was nice to help others. Yeah.
So Sue left, Sheila came on, and you stayed on at Grey Shot.
Yes.
And how long were you there at that point?
At that point, I have been there probably about 20 years.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So you must have seen many changes over that
many
time.
Changes.
But I mean, it was really growing then, yes?
Yes. And there was new treatments coming in, and very much into the holistic side of things that, was growing quickly. And it wasn't so much beauty then. So it did that whole switch. And now it's both. There's beauty and holistic, which go hand in hand, really.
So there were a lot of new treatments coming in. How did you get trained to do those?
We had specialist trainers coming in, or we'd go out of the to other establishments to do the training, which was good. It was all knowledge.
Where were the guests coming from at that time, Karen?
A lot of guests came from London, a lot from overseas, Saudi, places like that, because it was very much known as a weight loss at that time. It was a weight loss type of. But then you got the other aspect of people just coming for, to relax. So we had a lot of different clientele really then.
Mm-hmm. So after 20 years at Grey Shot, what was your next move?
Next move then was really I stayed as head of natural therapies, and then we didn't have a spa manager then, so there was two of us, my assistant and me, took it all on. And we're again with another lady called Elaine Williams, who was quite head of everything there as well. So we all ran it completely, the three of us, which was really good because we all had different things to bring to it.
Mm-hmm. So you were trained as a therapist, but not necessarily in human resources or marketing. Did you have to learn those in these roles?
No, it was just the backing that I had from other people in the establishment that gave me, obviously I would be sometimes dropped in it, sort of like doing the wages and doing the rotas and things like that. But it's surprising. I'll be nervous and then I think, oh, just do it. And, did it, type of thing. So, yeah, good.
So you had a good team at Grey Shot.
Very good.
What was it that happened that had you move on?
Last year, I did go part-time because my father died, and then my mother was really ill so I moved in with her and looked after her for 2 years before she passed away. So I only worked part-time. And then afterwards I stayed at part-time, but then would do extra hours when they needed. So others took over the role, but I still kept with the admin side of things and not so much treatments. And then I had, my husband works on the cruise ships, he's environmental officer. And so I got the chance of going for a 3-month break on there, which didn't cost me anything. So
that must have been delightful.
Going around the world. So it was like, I couldn't turn it down after everything that had sort of gone on with my parents and everything. I thought, now's the time I need to do something for me.
For sure.
And so I obviously went, and then when I came back into the lockdown. So it was that was April last year, and then Grey Shot folded. So I moved on.
So what do you think it will be like when you get back to work, Karen?
I did go back, and I wanted to just be a therapist. I didn't want to be involved in any sort of admin side of things, and I just wanted to do 0 hours so I could do, sort of have a life, because I'm 64 now. So I thought, I don't really want to be full time anymore. I just want to, go in but I wanted to do treatments, and the actual spa manager was a therapist at Grey Shot that I was her boss. So it was like,
That's
it
funny.
was really lovely. Yeah. And
Small
when I went,
world.
when I went to see her to just look at the job and everything, and she said, Karen, I won't insult you as to ask for a trade test, because I know what, which was really nice. So I worked, and it was lovely, really lovely to get back in with guests and doing treatments. Yeah, I think that's just my passion.
So given the option of management and being a therapist, or just being a therapist, at this point at least, you feel that focusing on therapy is for you.
Yes. Yeah, I think I just love going into that room and just one-on-one. It's just I get something out of it.
What? That was what I was going to ask. What are you getting out of that?
I think you get fulfillment that you've actually helped someone, and you see a difference for when they come into the room to actually when they leave. You've made a difference, and you can feel them relax and just enjoy. And I think you get that achievement that you've helped someone.
So you can feel that you've made a difference in someone's life in the 1 hour or so that you have them on your table.
And
amazing.
For them to just even sort of say thank you, I really enjoyed that, means it gives you that sense of fulfillment that you have helped them. Yeah,
I would guess that in these types of places like Grey Shot, you have many guests that you only see once, but you probably also develop a following of other guests.
Yes, we used to have lots come back, and they'd ask for you for their treatments. Like I had guest Mr. Herod, he did own cruise ships before, and he's quite well known in that type of world. And I was doing his treatments every time he came for 35 years. So that was nice. Every time they came back, maybe yearly or every 2 years, you'd see them. But there was many more that would ask for you, and you build that rapport with them.
Did you have regular guests who lived nearby who came regularly, or was it more just hotel guests?
It was mainly more hotel guests, but we did have like the gym and swimming pool was used for outsiders that were members. So they would have treatments as well, but mainly more guests, day guests as well. Day guests would come.
So as a therapist, do you look forward to having repeat guests where you can maybe lay out a longer treatment plan?
Yes, because then you can advise them as to another treatment that would be good for them. If they really want one treatment and you're thinking, next time you come, try this one, I think you might find that will work for you.
Did you have much success having guests follow the plan that you would lay out for them?
Oh yes, they would, they would take it all on board and try it. And I'd always say to them, I think that is what's for you, but it's entirely up to you if you want to stick with what but maybe you could try this. But I think it's the way that you speak to them, and if they know that it's for their well-being, they will take it on board.
So how many guests would you typically perform a treatment on a busy day, Karen?
It could be 7 or 8.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but if it was longer treatments, then if it was just a massage, then obviously that's a shorter time. But nowadays, that was before, and nowadays, because the treatments have got longer because they need that time. Some treatments are an hour and a half. You would only do 4 or 5.
Is it physically demanding work? Did you have to get to a point where you were strong enough to do sequential treatments?
I think to start with, because it was very much just massage, a lot of people just wanted massage because they didn't really understand the sort of wellness treatments that were coming in. And so that was quite physically, but I built up quite quickly. I think personally, because I do keep fit, I swim every day and, go to the gym and everything. So I do keep myself physically fit. But there were quite a few that did get injuries, repetitive strain. So you had to keep looking at that.
So it sounds like it's important as a therapist that you keep yourself fit and healthy and good
Yeah,
nutrition and all of those things.
definitely.
What sort of lifestyle um, choices have you made to keep healthy beyond swimming every day?
I tend to eat very healthily. I take supplements. Um, I'm have got quite a sweet tooth, but I tend to stick off it, because once I start and I don't feel good on it, it does zap my energy. It gives you that burst, and I don't like the feeling. So I'm not really into meat, so I tend to be quite vegan.
Mm-hmm. And
But
you've maintained a high level of energy.
yes,
After
yeah,
what you said, 40 years you've been doing this?
yeah.
And no injuries?
I have had a couple, but it hasn't been to do with work. I had an operation on my knee, but that was really from running.
Not work related.
Yeah, not work related. No.
Wonderful. So what do you think you'd miss the most at the point when you retire and you're not in the treatment room anymore? What will you miss the most?
I think it's that one-to-one with people, as in helping them. I want to always carry on, whether it's doing treatments on family or things like that. I will carry on, because I can't see me giving it up.
Do you feel like you had the magic in your hands from the beginning, or was it something that you developed over time?
Well, I was told to begin with that when I was sort of doing a lot of training, when I first started on staff and what have you, there were some Reiki masters that we had, and they used to say to me, "You've got the touch, you should be using it, connect with it." And I didn't understand to begin with what they were saying. It seemed all gobbledygook. But then once I started, sort of like trusting in myself that I have got something, I don't know, I just connected, and I can feel when I'm doing treatments on people where their energy is, where their emotions are. So yeah, I think
How were you able to tap into that?
I don't know. It was just, I would just put my hands on people, because these Reiki masters were saying to me, "You've got it. You've got the Reiki. Put your hands on and just feel." And that's what I would do. I would just feel people's their backs, especially. You can feel a lot, and their solar plexus. You could just feel where the heat was and where their energy is. And you could, with treatments and working on them, you can actually just distribute it from head to foot to give them more energy.
Do you find yourself, Karen, like walking around in the store and seeing people and thinking, oh, I could, help this person?
Yes.
Can you even see it without touching them?
Yeah, you can see even the way they walk or they sit, or even their faces. You can just see some people look so tired and like they've got the whole world on their shoulders. And I just say, oh, if I could just do you a treatment, I know you'd feel better.
Oh, I'm sure they would too. What have you done to keep your skills current, Karen, in your long career?
I did have some more training at Old Thorns for new treatments and updating. But I do look up, I do look through different books and things to see, because it has a lot of things do change, but when you look at the basics of it, it hasn't changed.
What are the new treatments that you see being done that guests are asking for?
There's been quite a lot with regards to crystal healing, but then some people are into the crystal healing, and some people just want hands-on, and they don't care what you do. And that was quite a good thing with Susan Harmsworth, because she put together a treatment where there was no structure to it. You just went into that room, you had an hour and a half with that guest, whether it was some reflexology, anything you could put together for that guest, which was quite good, I think, because not everybody likes their feet done, likes their head. So you could actually just go in and do what you feel that guest needs.
So is that difficult from a training perspective to sort of go off the protocol and ad lib, as it were?
I don't think so, because I think if you've got that expertise, it's like a bespoke treatment. You know, you're using oils, which are, you know, because with aromatherapy, you're using oils that are for that guest you've put together for that guest. So why not put a treatment together for that guest, you know, of what they need, rather than this motion, that motion. You're actually doing it for them.
Did you ever have a guest get very emotional on your
Yes.
table?
Yeah, quite a few. And you expect that, because when you're dealing with their emotions, their solar plexus and everything, where they hold it all, once you tap into that, you can feel that it's going to come. But it's good, you know, because they're letting it out, you know. So quite a few stars I've massaged and it's happened to, and they're so embarrassed by it. And I just say, don't feel embarrassed. It's natural, and it's better that you do, because you're going to feel better.
Do you have to like interact with them and listen and provide guidance, or are you just there for your touch?
No, they do speak to you. You do, you know, they will sort of come out with what's bothering them and things like that. But I mean, we can't, we're not counselors, but we can actually listen to them and then pass them on to, you know, sort of that type of profession.
Don't you think that many people just want someone to listen to them, though?
Definitely.
I found that even from beauty in the salon business, the same. You know, women sit down in the hairstylist chair and they share things. I was a makeup artist myself, and people would share things with you that you were just, that had nothing to do with what you were doing, but you realized they just needed to tell
needed
someone.
to talk. Yeah. And I think touch is the same, because it's quite a, you know, a lot of people haven't been touched in years, you know, some older people. And so to actually even just massage their hands, it is something.
So, as someone who's been in the industry so long, what do you think of this new, you know, the groundswell of interest around the wellness movement?
Well, I think wellness is, and especially now, there's a lot of mentally issues going around now. And so I think, you know, with treatments, you can help them, but they need to be sort of like guided in different, in ways that is good for them, really. Because you can't, it's not just one thing. It's not just a treatment that's going to fix them. They need that guidelines, as you know, the onward help as well.
Do you find that guests are coming looking for more than just the physical touch now?
So it is very difficult, because some that are used to treatments will just come in, you know, they're there for that treatment, and they, from the minute they come in, they're starting to relax. Whereas some people that haven't had any treatments, then it takes them a little while to actually feel comfortable, you know, and that's all to do with how you're speaking with them, you know, how you're making them feel relaxed. And then once you do start the treatments, I think they relax quite quickly.
I think we find that globally, honestly, when people have not had beauty treatments or body treatments and they don't know what to expect and they're nervous. But it's like riding a bike, right? Once you have one, you realize that it's pretty great and you're able to do it again.
Yeah.
Very few people say, no, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So, Karen, what are your favorite treatments to perform?
I think my favorite treatment is sort of like aromatherapy and holistic massages. Definitely.
Why is that?
I think because you can that you can really sort of feel and help them, because you're using oils for them, and you can actually relax them. You know, sometimes it may need a couple of treatments, you know, to you can adapt
Mm-hmm.
as to what they need. But if it's somebody that you haven't done before, it takes that first treatment to actually see what they need and do. And I think that's what aromatherapy and holistic massage, especially, you can actually, it's mind, body and spirit, really.
That's
It's the
awesome.
whole package.
That's just great. Well, you have spent so many years and so much energy making people feel good in and around you. What do you do personally to sort of nourish yourself beyond the, what we talked about, the exercise things? What do you do to keep yourself nourished?
um I like, I think for me personally, I do like treatments, but I prefer to do treatments.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really weird, because I get more relaxed doing treatments than having it myself. So
That's
it's
funny.
really, I love sort of like going to the hairdressers, having your hair done.
Mm-hmm.
I like talking to people and helping people. So for me, I get more out of that than actually having a treatment myself.
Well, that's good for us anyway. Well, last question, Karen. When you look back on your career, is there anything you wish you had done differently?
No, I don't think I would have. I think maybe I would have gone down the nursing route to begin with and had that background as well. But definitely, I would, say to anybody that wants to get into the wellness and therapy, it's so rewarding.
Well, thank you, Karen Mitchell, for sharing your story with us on
The pleasure.
StarrCast. And next time I'm in the UK, I'm definitely looking you up.
Come, yeah, love to meet you in
Thank
person.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.